that purpose, we have to create one container for front end and one Docker file for back end, where the database is there inside. So for that purpose, I have created one CC assignment folder with backend, and then this is my controller, which is mapping to the home page, name student. This is my user controller that will process after the admin login or user login. This is model where the entities and IDs are declared. This is repository which will extend the properties. And in resources, I have created the templates such as login.html, home.html, and register.html. And in application.properties, I have mentioned my MySQL localhost 3307 and database name with name and password. Then here is my Docker file. Here is my Docker file that contains all the properties which is by default. And then this is the entry point where the application will launch from. This is the Docker file for the front end, where I have mentioned the ports 8080, where the front end pages will be redirected and rendered. Now we have to create the docker compose.yaml. So for that purpose, we are going to write some code. Services we have to mention the port name also, on which port you are going to render the backend. So in my case it is 8080. So you have to mention the port name, start port name and end port name. Like you can mention 3056 to 3057, like such that. Then depends on my database name, that is DB user. Then environment name, sorry. So environment, we have to provide the like I have used the Spring database data source URL, so we have to provide the JDBC MySQL server. This is my database name. Then Spring data source username. In my case, it is Prathamesh, and then password is pass@123. Then Spring JPA Hibernate. And we have used the time leap in the HTML template, so we have to mention also that. Then volume, volumes, we have used app network. Then networks, in networks we have used app network. Sorry, in volumes we have to mention the backend and then app. Backend :/app. define your database browser database server images. Here you have to mention your database configurations. Username Prathamesh and MySQL password. In my case it is pass@123. Then you have to define the ports. I have mentioned the port name as 3307 to 3306. 3307 and 3306. And networks, in networks it is app network. We have to save this. Now we can run this file. As I am using Spring Boot, the Tomcat started at port 8080, that is by default. Refresh. Okay, so this is my welcome page. Then register. In registration, Omkar Bokre, password is 1234 and email is submit query. Okay, now it is redirected to user login. So nkr underscore Bokre and password is 1234. Okay, so it is saying that welcome to the student's website. Hello, Omkar Bokre. In this way, we implemented the Docker for deploying the application as a single unit.